Hey guys, what is going on? And welcome to our Chapter 2 of my reading of The Unexpected Love Life of Dusk Shine. This one is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to do something brief because I carried on too long in the last episode. So this time, I'm going to make it quick. I'm also reading to people over Xbox Live right now, namely my cousins. And so, without further ado, let's start this thing. The smell of crisp apples filled Dusk's lungs as he carried his load of fruit on one of his many dirt trails of Sweet Apple Acres. Meanwhile, Spike was riding on his back, checking each apple for quality and tossing the bad ones aside. "Thanks for helping me harvest all these golden delicious, Dusk," said Applejack with her usual confident smile. "No problem, Applejack," Dusk said passively. "Why did you need me for this again? I mean, you have your two siblings, and you told me that Applebuck season isn't for another week," he thought out loud. Applejack shrugged. "It's for a bet," she said. "Nice going, Dusk," he thought. "You've unknowingly let a pretty face suck you into gambling." "What was the bet?" he asked. "Well, if I bring all these apples to the barn by lunchtime, Big Macintosh has to walk through town wearing Granny's girdles," laughed Applejack. What do you have to do if you lost?" asked Dusk out of curiosity. "Early in that morning." "And what do you have to do if you win?" challenged Applejack. Big Macintosh smiled smugly. "When I win," he said, "y'all have to lie to Granny for a day." "Easy," Applejack whooped. "That's all?" "Easy, nope." Ugh, keep messing up. "What?" Applejack was taken out of her thoughts of sweet early victory. She quickly reined her composure. "Okay, partner, what's the catch?" she inquired cautiously. "You gotta tell her that you got knocked up by that librarian in town," said Big Mac with a whisper. AJ gulped as her blood ran cold. If Granny knew that somebody was fooling around with her grandchildren, the culprits would be at the altar within an hour, or 6 hooves under. "What's the matter, Applejack?" said Big Macintosh playfully. "You ain't chicken, ain't you?" With that, a fire lit up inside Applejack's stomach. "Ain't never been no chicken, and I'll never will," she roared. "You got yourself a bet." Present time. "Nothing," said Applejack, scrunching up her nose with her eyes darted side to side. Okay," said Dusk, a little suspicious of her friend. "Anyway, I'm really glad that we're done. I'm starving." "I know, right?" said Spike. "But I bet that I'm hungrier than both of you combined." "Spike, all the work you've done is lie on my back like an overweight slug," complained Dusk. "At least you could have fed me one of those apples you've been throwing away. Half of them are pretty edible." "I so too have a reason to be hungry," Spike argued. "I was busy working hard. I missed my snack time." He continued with the utmost belief that he was completely legitimate and sympathetic reason. "You know, a growing dragon needs his 15 daily scheduled snack times." Dusk was about to retort when his own stomach growled. "Let's just get these to the farm," the purple unicorn said with a tired expression. I just want to eat. Just then, Spike pulled out the reddest, shiniest, most delicious, most perfect-looking apple that Dusk had ever seen in his life. It was like one of those moments in time when the world just stopped and admired this one absolutely perfect thing. Just because none of the rest of its kind could ever compare to Crunch. Spike ate the whole apple in one disgusting chomp. Dusk said nothing, just glaring at his surrogate brother with momentous levels of contempt. "What?" Spike said obviously, chunks of the apple still visible in his mouth. As if to break the tension, he suddenly burped, and with a burst of magical flame, a scroll with Celestia's royal seal materialized. Just then, the sky darkened, thunder rumbled, and what little hope of Dusk had of escaping his impending doom failed. That shriveled up and died as his fate was sealed. "Did you just feel something?" asked Dusk to no pony in particular. "Nope," said Applejack. "Just some odd weather." Spike shrugged as he read the news letter from the princess. "My dearest student, as you know, the Grand Galloping Gala is coming around, and as always, you're invited to come. I also presume that neither you nor Spike wants to come," claiming once again that this kind of stuff is for pansies like Blue Blood. But this year is very, very different. Because it's this kind of behavior that has been obstructing you from making friends. It is mandatory that you attend the gala this year. However, Spike does not have to come if he does not wish, for it is Yume who has primarily had this issue. He can still come if he so desires, although I suspect that this is unlikely, but just in case I have changed the invitation from Duskshine and Spike to Draco to Duskshine plus date. With love, Princess Celestia of Equestria. Plus what? Exclaimed Duskshine. This has to be some kind of typo. I've never been on a date in my entire life. Big surprise, Spike muttered. Anyways, it's such donkey balls to be you, because there is no way I'm going to be caught dead in that snooze fest, much less as your date. He laughed at that last part. No offense, Dusk, but that Spike daddy doesn't swing that way. Priority, Spike, shouted Dusk. No matter how much I don't want to go to that frou-frou gala, I still need a date. Didn't you hear the princess? It's mandatory. I could be your date, suggested Applejack. The silence was so deafening you could hear a pin drop. Finally, Dusk found the will to speak. What? Well, not a date, Applejack managed to say before Dusk's panic levels reached nuclear. You see, my family's in a mighty tight bits problem. At the gala, Applejack's perspective. Every pony knows that any pony who's going to attend the Grand Galloping Gala, even an invitation-only event, the gala holds a guest list roughly 1,800 visitors, each one with their pockets full of bits and their stomachs growling. And this is where I come in. If I were to open up just one stand, every single one of those uptight billionaires would line up to have some of my homemade Apple Family's Love edible edition. My family will be practically swimming in their bits. They may even like my cooking so much that they might want to open a trading contract, just like the rich family. Why, with all that bits, we could really fix up the place, like replacing the saggy old roof on the barn, that saggy old plow, and we can even pay for Granny's hip operation. Think about it, Dusk. She could dance the night away. If you want, we can even get some of the bits to charity, so the school and library could have some new fancy learning stuffs. Well, that does sound pretty nice when you put it that. Oof. Duskshine was cut off from his sentence with Rainbow Dash cramps between him and AJ. Sorry, guys, the Daredevil apologized. I was busy trying out this totally awesome stunt, and I couldn't help but overhear something about the Grand Galloping Gala. You were napping in the tree above us, weren't you? Said Applejack suspiciously. Maybe. Darn it, Rainbow, exclaimed Applejack in frustration. You told me that you were too busy to help me out in the harvest, and there I catch you sleeping on my own property? Hey! Rainbow Dash snapped. You think it's easy being the most radical thing alive? She paused for a moment and then continued. Actually, it's a walk in the park for me. But whatever I can do extra cool, like save Equestria, for instance, or chug a whole barrel of Zap Apple cider in one sitting, I have to recharge a little. Applejack rolled her eyes in response. I still stand by my point, she deadpanned. Besides, didn't your mama ever tell you not to spy on other ponies? Be quiet, AJ, shushed Rainbow Dash. The cool ponies are talking. She turned to Dusk. So, tickets to Candlelight, huh? Well, said Dusk nervously. I was just going to take Applejack to the Grand Galloping Gala because she wants to open the stand. Her? Cut off Rainbow Dash. Why settle for a semi-rad stiff like her when you could take a fully awesome superstar like the one you're talking to? Pardon? Interjected Applejack, fury blazing in her green eyes. Last I recall, Dusk and me, What do you plan to do at the gala, anywho? See your Wonderbolts fly around with their stupid little tricks? 1. If you're to call the Wonderbolts stupid again, I will sneak into your barn at a random night and kill you in your sleep, said Rainbow Dash, struggling to keep herself from strangling the farmer. 2nd, her voice rising to a squeak, I'm not just going to watch them, I'm going to join them! At the gala, Dash Division Edition, complete with a classic soundtrack. The Wonderbolts would dazzle the crowd as always, with every pony watching them. The audience would have no idea what several flavors of awesome would shower them with her presence. Suddenly, a lone rainbow-colored streak in the sky would flash as a speeding object would break the Wonderbolt's performance. Who is that? What is that? It's just me, Rainbow Dash. The crowd would erupt into cheers at my several custom-made flying tricks. And boy, I'd show them. From the super speed strut to the Buccaneer Blitz, the crowd would go wild at every single stunt. They would love me so much. They would get a smoke machine and a laser show just to make me look more awesome. After being blown away with my performance, the Wonderbolts would welcome me into their ranks with open hooves. Hey, Rainbow Dash, my nerd would call out. I think you're the coolest thing ever, even though I don't deserve you. Thanks, I'd say nonchalantly, whatever that means. But you're wrong, Dusk. In fact, I think I'll lower my standards just this once so I can hang out with you for a while. Really? He stuttered in a cute kind of way. Sure, why not, I'd answer. But let's make this quick. I just got accepted into the Wonderbolts, and I don't want to keep them waiting. Golly, he blurted out, practically orgasming. Thanks, Dash. No biggie, and then we'd have a mind-blowing awesome sex on the spot, thus immortalizing him as my first groupie. Controller turned off. Alright guys, I'm back. You may turn off the soundtrack now, provided that your brain hasn't melted from the hotness of what you just read. Rainbow. There's the silliest story I've ever heard, Applejack said, pulling Dash out of her fantasy. The Wonderbolts don't even perform at the gala. Besides, he asked me first. Ain't that right, Dusk? Technically, Applejack, you kinda asked me, corrected Dusk. And I'm not sure if I can go without Pony seeing us as a couple. Yeah? So the ticket's mine? Added Rainbow Dash. Oh yeah, said Applejack, her anger rising. Well, I challenge you to a hoof wrestle for it. Bring it, Blondie. Wow, my voice completely went weird with that one. And with that, the two mares were locked in ruthless combat. With the grand arena being a nearby stump, each pony was instantly pressed to their physical limits as Celestia's mighty son beat down on them. Truly, this was the hoof wrestle of ages. Unfortunately, the winner will not be determined because Dusk was breaking them up. Stop, he shouted. It's my decision to take who I choose. Neither me nor my ticket is a prize to be won. Yeah, it is. Applejack disagreed. Yeah, you are, said Rainbow Dash at the same time. Well, you're both wrong, said Dusk stubbornly. He immediately wanted to take what he said back, with both of them glowering mares disregarded him and stared down at each other, ready to start a no-holds-barred beatdown, possibly involving him. 3 whole minutes passed and not a word was spoken. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Finally, Spike cleared his throat. Don't you think we'd have better luck discussing this after lunch? He pointed out meekly. Spike, you're a lifesaver, thanked Dusk silently. Good idea, Spike. I'll get back to you on that gala ticket after lunch, girls. I promise. He walked away. AJ looked at Dash. Dash looked at AJ. They nodded simultaneously. They knew what must be done. Both athletes clasped their hooves once more and resumed the unofficial epic hoof wrestle of the destiny that will finally prove I'm better than her. Or for short, Duskshine trotted in the direction of his favorite restaurant. All the while, Spike was nagging them like a puppy, the suspected that you had food on you. Where was that? Who's going to be your date? He teased over and over. Every single time, Dusk refused to answer. I don't know, the purple unicorn hollered after Spike's 104th continuous attempt to get an answer out of him. If I picked one of them, the other will eat me for breakfast. I'm landlocked. My hooves are tied, he ranted. Slow down, Dusk, halted Spike. It's not the end of the world. Well, I guess you're right, Spike, sighed Dusk. I mean, it's only 2 mares. How can it get any worse? Out of the blue, Dusk felt a crack of force applied to the back of his head, then complete darkness. Oh God, I remember this part. When Duskshine came to, he smelled the stench of rotting wood and rusty nails. Blackness suffocated his eyes. He attempted to move, but found out he was strapped to some kind of cement wall. Don't try to use your magic. I injected you with enough sedatives for it to be useless, called a familiar voice. Its tone was devoid of all joy, and some kind of infernal machine sucked a pony dry of any thought of happiness and replaced it with pure hatred and malice of all things good and innocent in the world. If you're looking for bits, Dusk said, his voice cracking with terror of the reality of the situation, my family is pretty wealthy, and they'll be willing to pay a high price for me. Hey, Princess Celestia is even a good friend of mine, and I don't want your dumb bits. I said dumb, that's damn. I don't want your damn bits, you stupid piece of manure, cut off the voice impatiently. Duskshine started crying. He didn't want to die today. He had so many hopes and dreams he had yet to fulfill. Who are you? He managed to say. You don't recognize my voice? Shame. Maybe this will help. The voice rose itself to a high pitch of mock ecstasy. Hi there! I'm going to throw parties just to ignore my insecurities and pretend I have real friends. In my spare time, I gorge myself through amounts of junk food and probably get my 11 variation of diabetes someday. Pinkie Pie? Dusk said in disbelief. Abruptly, Dusk was blinded by burning light as a single light bulb was switched on, and in front of him stood Pinkie Pie, her coat now color of dulled-off pink, her completely straight mane hanging down to her knees. Pinkie's gone, Dusk said stoically. Call me Pinkamena. And that is the end of Chapter 2. I hope y'all liked it. So, rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. See ya.